Good no, not good afternoon. Good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we get going, the usual disclaimers. And if you wonder why it took a minute, I don't think you all watch time clock on these. I had groceries delivered. Instacart. For an autistic, Instacart has become one of the most beautiful things in the world. Because I kind of like having other people have to go and people instead of me getting all those judgmental eyes on me as soon as I start shopping for shit. Particularly where I leave a particular area because they have enough fluorescent lighting to light up Fort Knox in a one small 1 foot area. It's a special level of hell. So, yay! Where was this shit in my early 20s? Like seriously, where was this shit in my early 20s? That could have been extremely useful. But anyways, to the disclaimers. Enough with my, pimping out and saying Instacart is the shit. Even though it is. Really is. In the description box, folks, you're going to find the link to the article the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so folks, you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also got the public statement from NeuroClastic in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat and a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their threat. And we also have linked in there their GoFundMe. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't brain, okay? I'm trying to do two things at once. My cat's purring. Yeah. I'm having an autism moment. Give me a sec. And we're good. Okay. We also got the pertinent links to the Agape boarding school situation as well. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled teens that has pending over 21 claims, allegations, and civil lawsuits leveled against it. These allegations include sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, and starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor who still lives on the premises, I might add, up on multiple claims, substantiated by the hard evidence found during the investigation done by the Missouri Department of Social Services of rape, sodomy, and sexual assault. You also got, let's see here, a brand new Attorney General, who's another GOP fucktwat. Thank you. Thank you for giving me another imbecile to have to deal with, Missouri. And a governor who is on a power trip from hell. So, please, folks, read all those articles. Don't forget to share them on all your social media alongside the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. We got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the template, Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet over shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and use your headphones, all right? All right. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and speak about dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger, Parental supervision is very obviously advised. Also, folks, trigger warning, we are about to descend into the mad ravings of a lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear victim blaming, gaslighting, lies, pseudoscience, batshit insanity he managed to just pull out of his ass, I don't even know, and enough ableism and bigotry to circle the world at least a few times, all right? So just be prepared for that. Okay, so where we left off last video, right? And I'm sorry if I seem distracted. My cat is being extraordinarily cute. He has the purrs, folks. He has the purrs, and he's a good boy. Yes, he's a good kitty. This is my emotional support cat. This is what keeps me sane. Doesn't you, Mr. Mao? It's like, it's a hard job. Somebody has to. Sorry, folks. Dreams do come true. Become the crazy cat lady of your dreams. Alright. Little humor before we descend into the stupidity, huh? Alright. When these procedures are followed, the behavior is eliminated or dramatically reduced, the individual's mental faculties are left intact, and the need for seclusion and timeout rooms is eliminated, and the need for takedowns, manual restraint, mechanical restraints, and drugs is either eliminated or minimized. Lie! Repeated lies. Repeated lies. Shall we get started? Let's do this, doctor. When these procedures are followed, does the behavior get eliminated or dramatically reduced? For a time. Fear does get an immediate response. Fear can be used to stomp out a behavior for a time, but only for a short time, folks. That triggering issue that is not being dealt with because Dr. Matthew Israel can't be asked to practice real medicine. Yeah. The effect of those so-called behaviors being eliminated or minimalized are only going to last as long as the threat hangs over the kid's head. When that threat is removed, when, for example, they go out there in the real fucking world, instead of this hellscape he calls whimsical place, please don't get me started. I still shake in horror at his decor. God. Sorry, bad thoughts. Anyways, my point is, when the threat is removed, understandably and predictably, the behaviors return. Now, Dr. Matthew Israel thinks that means they need to be on the shock device for the rest of their lives. A, that's not practical. B, it's bullshit. And C, he's batshit. Okay? This is a guy who wants to take schizophrenics off their beds. Just saying. By the way, if takedowns, manual restraint, and mechanical restraint can be removed, why do you use them all, doctor? Nobody has ever, I don't know if people have hit him with this, but here's the truth. The doctor uses all of these. All of them. He uses the takedowns. If you don't call what this doctor does as mechanical and manual restraint, I don't know what shit you're smoking, but I hope that you're talking to Jesus when you're on it. He does all of these. None of the things that he does removes any of these things from happening to these kids. He's once again selling you a lie, a fantasy. Put them on this shock device. It feels like a bee sting and they'll be cured. It's bullshit. It's not going to help your kid any more than the doctor in the UK who said giving your kid bleach was going to help. Okay? All you're going to do is now create psychological and trauma and damage on top of the things that are triggering the behaviors that were never dealt with. By the way, this is actually more likely to increase aggression and violent behavior or self-abuse behavior, not minimize it. Particularly when they're taken off the device. And he's like, but they get worse than they were before. Gee, ya fucking think? But he never takes any responsibility for it. He totes that as his evidence that what he does works. Because he refuses to see the damage that he has done. Or how that can then form into behaviors becoming worse. Yeah, this is who we're dealing with here. Let's move on. The student is then able to receive education, live and enjoy community, and acquire other skills and positive behaviors to replace the problematic behaviors. No, it doesn't. No, the fuck it doesn't. As a kid, with a stepbrother who was abusing me. When you live with abuse, can we speak bluntly here? If you think any of that shit helped me receive an education, I got a river in Egypt I can sell you. By the way, if you think any of that actually made me live in and enjoy the community and acquire other skills, yeah. I acquired those skills and the ability to deal with the community in spite of the things that were going on and being done to me, not because of them. This is also true of the survivors of the JRC. Jennifer Masumba formed these skills in spite of the JRC, not because of them. Matter of fact, the trauma that they have now inflicted upon her has actually made it that much harder for her to acquire those skills. Because now she has psychological fucking trauma on top of it. But we can't deal in logic here with Dr. Matthew Israel. Also, explain to me what positive behaviors that abuse and torture is supposed to inspire. Can I tell you what I felt as a kid? Complete, utter rage. Nothing but rage. Blinding, overpowering, burning rage. So much anger that I could physically feel it as heat in my body. That kind of anger, that kind of resentment. Want to know what happened? Do you think I had more positive behaviors? No. It made me more aggressive. It made me more likely to go in meltdowns, not less. Matter of fact, it increased the frequency and the intensity of my meltdowns. Let me say that again. It increased the frequency and the intensity of those meltdowns. Didn't replace it with anything. Okay? This doctor does not deal in logic. And for someone who's supposed to be a psychologist, he really doesn't seem to understand the first thing about the topic, does he? Now let's see here. None of this is possible when the alternatives such as sedating drugs and restraints are used. All of it is possible when you use proper treatment, doctor. In fact, let's compare my life from when I was a child to now. Since out of that environment and put into the person-centered planning program, I did indeed, without ABA and all this bullshit, was able to build a life, doctor. I learned how to ingratiate myself in society. Granted, a lot of that was masking. I didn't start coming out of that until about a few years ago. But I was able to move and do around society. I was able to not only do that, but go above and beyond. I got involved with advocacy. I got involved with speaking publicly. I got involved with wheeling and dealing with politicians at my state capitol and on a national level. None of this happened because of what happened to me. It happened in spite of it. There's a massive difference there. And even while all that was going on, I was still dealing with the trauma. Okay? None of that did me any favors. In fact, I had to work twice as hard as any neurotypical out there just to be able to get past high school and do my community college thing with the graphic arts, okay? Just saying. Now, but such as sedating, drugs, and restraints are used. None of that is possible. Doctor, I was on medication. Person-centered planning, married with proper medication, married with proper therapy. And guess what? I'm out here on my own. I work a full-time job. That job provides me with my own insurance. Because my treatment was sane. Okay? Anyone who's been through abuse can tell you. They can look at what the JRC is doing and they know exactly what it is. And they can see claims like this and they will just look at him like he's on crack. Nothing he said here is true. As far as restraints, I agree with you, doctor. Except you don't agree with you. That's a lie. Because what the fuck do you call strapping a young man down, face down on a 4-point board other than restraints? What do you call basically shipping kids to school in the Hannibal Lecter costume every day? Because I don't call that freedom from restraint, doctor. Neither would anyone who has 2 brain cells to rub together. As far as sedating, drugs. For fuck's sake, it's like I'm watching the JD versus AH trial again. Are we an over-medicated society? Fucking yes, we are. But there are individuals who need their fucking meds. Sure, maybe they'll stop some of the behaviors through torture. Just like you would with anyone. Remove that threat. About their medications, put trauma on top of their other mental health issues. You are setting up a train wreck. Okay? Anyone who knows, I could grab somebody off the street right now. They'd say the same. So what are we learning from this one, folks, before we close out? We are once again learning that this doctor can't seem to wrap his mind around what he's actually doing to these kids. He has this idea in his head that people like me need to be ruled through fear or else we'll never be normal. Is the new flash. We're never going to be normal. There is no such thing as normal. Okay? The only difference between me and a neurotypical is my issues have labels. That's it. There is no such thing as normal. You're sure as hell not going to even come near this romanticized fantasyland idea of normal by torturing someone. This doctor equates trauma response to success because the behavior stopped. He's not factoring in what happens when you remove the threat. Nor is he taking any responsibility for the fact that somebody who's come through that special level of hell and survived it, once the threat is removed, is more than likely going to be worse than they ever were before. He's going to say it's because you took away the treatment. That is a lie. The truth is, all those pent-up feelings that they forced inside themselves and would not allow themselves to feel now that they're in a safe space are going to come out. All that buried anger, resentment, self-loathing, self-hatred, all that shit is going to come out and come to a head. And that is because of the damage that he has done, which he will never, ever take any responsibility for. No, in fact, he uses it as his argument as to why we deserve to be treated as less than animals. The saying that you can only treat a human being like an animal so much before they become one is very pertinent here. The people like myself who've gone through shit, people who've gone through even more horrific shit than I've ever dreamed of, like Jennifer Musumba, those of us who do manage to succeed, it's not because of people like Matthew Israel. It's in spite of them. And that deserves respect. And I'm going to close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get get removed from time to time. So folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.